Hi, Chuck Boyce again with CB Creative, and this is another Tuesday Pulse. Today's session is for a specific person. You're using AI, maybe a lot, and somewhere in the back of your head, there's this nagging feeling that it's not really organized. And so it works kind of, but you couldn't explain how. You definitely couldn't hand it to someone else. And if that's you, good, you're in the majority. This session is the way out. Housekeeping, this is going to be recorded. It'll be put onto the YouTube channel. I can take questions at the end, and there is a share file that I will be having you give access to. And so, two questions. Did you use AI this week? Any tool, Chat, GPT, Claude, Copilot, Gemini, any tool, the thing built into your email, whatever. Could anyone else in your business, could they do the exact same task tomorrow, the same way, without you, and get the same result? Using AI is just an activity. Running on AI is a system. Almost everybody does the first, and hardly anybody does the second. More and more people are moving towards the second, but it's still using it as a task and not as a system. So, numbers behind it right now, as of July 2026, somewhere around 3/4 of small businesses say they're using AI. That's according to Goldman Sachs, put at 76% earlier this year. And so the same survey found that 14%, roughly 1 in 7, had actually integrated it somehow into their business. And so as it gets sharper, when researchers stop asking people and start asking what they're actually doing with it, consistent operational use drops to under 1 in 5. And so these again are mid-July 2026. And so take that. If you're watching this in a future, this is as of then. And so the numbers move. If you're watching this again, don't quote me on when you're watching it. Think of this as mid-2026. And so here's what I want you to know with these numbers. The gap between using and running isn't intelligent. It isn't budget. They have the same tools and often the same subscriptions. The gap is 3 missing things. And we'll name them all 3 today. Nothing's written down, nobody owns the output, and nothing is being measured. So, if this sounds familiar, it probably will. Say you're a 1 or a 5-person shop, and everybody has their own AI habits. One person swears by chat, other one uses Claude, somebody's using something bolted into their CRM. Different tools, different prompts, different ideas of what good looks like. The results are generally good. Some come with one person. However, usually whoever got curious first has the best results because they're more used to it. They iterate, they understand what's happening. And if you ask the owner of the business what they spent on AI last month across all subscriptions, from the free tiers on to what is bolted in, most people don't really know what they're paying for total AI. And so if you hear something like, oh, it saves time, that's a feeling and it's not a number. They're not measuring anything. And none of that's criticism because nobody at this size, the small, from anywhere from 1 to 5 to 10, whatever, they never planned on an AI rollout. It just showed up, 1 tab at a time, bolted into a system, and it's just there. On the operating a business, you get the same size, same tools, different posture. 1 or 2 workflows, not 10. So run through AI the same way every time, no matter who's using it or driving it. There's a page that says how, and literally it's just a page. It's not a manual, it's not a wiki. Just have a page to show how this should be run in your business. Someone specific looks at the output before it leaves the building. In a 4-person business, that someone is often the owner, and it's if a 1-person business, it's the owner. But documented, if you expect to grow, you should have a documented process so you can train people. And it's completely fine because it's just the way you do business. But if you expect to grow or have things run consistently the same way, the same outputs by the same people, you need training, you need documentation to start. And so just give them one number, tell them when the thing stopped. It's the operating the business isn't doing more AI, it's doing less AI better. And so, which camp are you in? Think about this. Nobody's grading you, just be honest. Experimentation, tools in use, nothing written down, or operating at least one workflow documented, owned, and measured. Chances are 80 to 90% are A. And that's not failure, that's just normal result. It's roughly where the national data shows. The whole point of the next part of this talk is to take that path from the experimental A to the operating B. And it really is smaller than you think it is. So, first, you're not stuck because you're lazy. I want to kill that before you go. It's not laziness, it's structural. Every one of these hits a 5-person business harder than a 50, anywhere from a 1 to 10 something. This is where the real trap is. Once you get into a larger organization, you have teams and groups and rules and regulations and policies set in, but in the small group, that normally isn't the case. So, trap 1 in a small business, AI skill lives in people's heads. One person does it differently. Prompts work because 100 small judgment calls were made without thinking. They again iterate. They know the context. They know what to paste in. They can push back the output. They know what to double check. They know how to redo it. And they've never said it out loud. It's just the way that you do how you use AI. It's not a capability your business owns. It's a capability your business borrows. So every employee who uses AI is going to use it slightly differently. They're going to have a different educational background, a different experience, understand context in a different way. So the day the person leaves that does a really good job with AI, or they get slammed, or they just have a vacation day or week, your AI advantage walks out the door with them. And so you don't even see it happening because it was never written down and you don't know what to watch, or you don't notice it. Well, you maybe notice it when it leaves, but for those who've been to earlier sessions, you'll recognize this as what I call in my 5 blind spots, the process illusion. It's just new clothes. The workflow feels consistent because the same person does it every time. It isn't consistency, it's memorization. It's rote knowledge. It's just mind trap. That's trap 1. Trap 2 is documentation feels like a luxury and nothing gets written down. You don't have time to do it. There's no documentation. Without that, it guarantees inconsistency. Makes AI feel unreliable, which makes it feel like it's not worth investing in. It means that nothing gets written down around and around and around. And so look at objection is legitimate. You're a small team. You don't have spare staff to babysit a tool. You don't think about documentation. But here's the thing. The fix isn't babysitting. It's one page, a written notice, once. Build it once together in a few minutes, and you'll see exactly how small it actually is. So the third trap is without a baseline, faster feeling or what's actually faster are indistinguishable. And so the research on failed AI initiatives keeps landing on the same cause. It's not the AI underperforming. It's that nobody measured the workflow before the tool arrived. There's not a baseline. There's nothing to compare against. And so you can say it feels faster, but have you measured it? Did you set a baseline and say that this task takes me 25 minutes or 2 hours, and now I can run AI and it's now taking 10 minutes or 45 minutes. And so if you don't have a baseline to measure against, you really just have that feel. You don't have a true return on investment of how you can measure that return on investment. And so at renewal time, you're still guessing. Is the AI you're paying for really paying off for you. And so, do you want to cancel things that are quietly working? You forget about renewals. The renewal isn't the thing. It's finding out which tool is actually paying for itself or paying even more, bringing you profitability. For most small shops, shadow AI at your size isn't a rogue department. It's a part-timer or virtual assistant pasting a customer list into a free tool to save time. And if you're testing a new tool and you don't look at what their training is, can you turn it off? Are they recording you? Are they storing it you? Most people don't think about that. But if you're pasting valuable information, customer lists, business processes, or anything in without understanding how it's being used at that vendor, it's a problem. And there's sessions in my library on YouTube that have that, but we'll stay on this graduation path today. So here's the test. You get one workflow. It's written down on one page. You have one identified owner, and you have one number that you can measure against. That's an afternoon setup, 2 weeks of light tracking. It's deliberate. It's for a business with zero slack. It's not a transformation. It's not a strategy. It's just 4 simple things that if you take them one at a time, it will help your business. Here's what you do. You pick a single task and you apply these 3 filters. So if it happens weekly and it follows a rough pattern and it annoys somebody, the last one matters. Annoyance is the fuel. If this is something that just seems like it's just an annoying thing, it's something that can be fixed, that's a good one to pick. Don't pick the most impressive candidate. Pick the most repeatable one. A process that's different every time. Every time it's a bad pick. And so if it's 80% of the same every time, that's a good one. So if it's very repeatable, that's the best candidate. It's not the one that looks like it's going to get the best return. It's the one that's repeatable, that you can measure, and it has an owner. And so if you've seen any of the Track C sessions that I've done in the past, this is the 4-condition filter that I talked about in the past. But today we're just doing this one gate. And when you write that page, just put 4 things on it. The tool, reusable prompt or context, what a good result looks like in plain words, what never goes in, and get very specific about examples. And then what happens if something goes wrong? Who gets escalated to? And so that's it. It's just, there's no hard limit. It's up to you. The workflow needs more than a page. The workflow's too big. Shrink the workflow, not the font, even though when I show you the example, I have a larger font, and so it's not on one page, but you'll get the idea. So, one owner, somebody's name goes on who controls the quality output. And it is a name, it's not a role. You don't just say the head of accounting or something. That person is a named person. It's not a role, it's not a vibe. That person controls the quality. In a 3-person business, that name is probably you as the owner. The owner is the one who's normally responsible. And so naming yourself counts. Write yourself down. You are the owner. It's documented. If you grow, the owner changes, update the documentation. It doesn't count as we all check it, we all look at it. It's no. Have one person responsible for the output. And so again, as you're scaling your business, if you start with naming you as a single owner, you're the owner of the business, you're a single owner, you're a single operator, document it and put yourself. You grow, you get a new person in your team, and ownership changes, update the documentation again. But you do have one owner responsible. One number. And so this is how you check to see if something's working. It is at minutes per task is normally a good one. How much turnaround time? How many revisions before sending? What is your error rate? Find that number that you can track. And this is the part everybody skips. Measurement is finding that current state and actually documenting it. It may be something like get a tool that you can actually record a screen session and watch it. The guide is a good tool to use as that. Uh, Guide allows you to narrate while you're walking through the process, and then it will document it for you. And so just doing a tool like that, running through a repeatable task that you do all the time, narrating it, or typing it in as you're running it, that will help you set your initial baseline. If it turns into AI feels helpful, if you don't have something to measure it, if you can take to your accountant or a business partner or somebody who wants to invest or hire, you need something that you can measure to prove that what you're paying is worth the cost that you're paying. So here's an example. Let's look at a 4-person bookkeeping practice. You have an owner, you have 2 bookkeepers, and an office administrator. Now, the admin already uses ChatGPT to draft replies to prospect inquiries. That probably sounds familiar with either yourself or people you've worked with. And she does the work, and nobody else can do it. Nobody knows if it's actually faster than when just typing the reply. Textbook experimentation. So let's graduate all 4 at once in 5 minutes. So their one page is simple. The workflow, inbound prospect, inquiry replies. And so it's every day, it follows a pattern. It normally takes, without any AI involved, 15 to 20 minutes per each conversation or each reply. And it starts from a blank prompt. And so the context is what the practice does, who it serves, what type of engagement, and the tone. That prompt is written once and pasted every time. And so you have a prompt library of this common stuff. Again, this takes you 20 minutes to write, and it's reused forever. You get consistency. Build a prompt library based on these documents. Now the part to slow down is this never goes in a list. You must document that. Don't put client names. Don't put financial figures. Don't put anything from a client file. You don't know where that's going. Once it goes into AI, it goes up into a cloud. And if you don't understand what their privacy policies are, it may be being used for training purposes. And so write down what never goes in. And so the edge cases, no AI drafting. And so for a bookkeeping practice, your raw materials is exactly the data that should never touch the public tool. Client financials. In a free tier chatbot isn't a productivity hack. It's an incident that hasn't been discovered yet. The never goes in list, 3 lines on this page. Most important lines are there. The never goes in. You put edge case rules. Anything touching an existing client numbers, anything about fee exceptions, anything goes to the owner. No AI drafting, just have the admin owns the workflow, reviews every draft before it's sent. The owner spot checks it once or twice a week. It's named, written down, and done. And so if we look over at a page, here is a 1 page. It's the practice. Who's the owner? When it was last updated. The task, draft replies to new prospects. The tool used is ChatGPT. It's a paid account. Dana's login, she's the responsible one. And it's been configured so it doesn't train on your data. That's an important piece also. If you have a higher paid version, a lot of that is defaulted to not being trained, not being stored, but you have to validate that. And so the context, we're a 4-person business bookkeeping practice, and we serve small businesses, typically 2 to 20 employees. The services are monthly bookkeeping, payroll, QuickBooks cleanup, end of year prep coordination with the CPA for tax purposes. We're not a CPA firm. We don't file returns. So the tone is always going to be warm, plain spoken, professional, short paragraphs, no jargon, every reply. This is what gets pasted into the context part of your prompt. The prompt itself is using the context above, draft a reply to this inquiry, paste in the inquiry. Keep it under 150 words, mention the intro call, ask one specific question based on what they told us, inquiry, paste the inquiry. And this is where the email goes in. And so this is the prompting that you're using. The context has been defined. What a good reply looks like, under 150 words, blah, blah, blah. Here's your exceptions. Don't put in client names, current or former, no financial figures, ours or anyone's, and as that is. And then what in edge cases, anything touching an existing client's numbers, any fee exceptions, any compliant things go straight into the owner. This is just drafting. It's not a draft, it's just forward it. Again, the review, Dana reviews it, edits it before drafting, Marcus, the owner, spot checks it, and replies. So the number, this is the minutes required. Right now, it's taking about 18 minutes. Our target is under 8 minutes. Here's where you get your measurement. The rule, decide if we don't get under 12 minutes in 1 month, we'll revisit and revise it. So this is what a workflow, again, it's a little more than a one page, but you get the idea. It's very simple. It takes you a day, or less than a day, an hour with working with your team to document this. Their numbers, they said that right now their baseline is about 18 minutes. Their target is to under 8. And so if they can't get under 12 after a month, revisit it, or the subscription gets questioned. If you got a $20 subscription just for this, that might still be worth the $20 because you're using it for other things. But if you're buying a specific tool at a monthly subscription rate to get these numbers down, if the numbers don't come down based on what you're paying, revisit, is it worth investing in that tool? So one warning before we close this up is first win creates a new problem, and that's momentum. You graduate one workflow, it works, and the temptation is to celebrate by adding more tools. The average AI small business is already running about 5 of them, and most of them overlap, and some of them no one remembers subscribing to. So documenting which tools you have and when is it a monthly, is it an annual? A lot of times people just get these subscriptions and they seem small and they forget about it. They don't review their bookkeeping, and they don't realize that, oh yeah, what happened to this tool that we're paying $8 a month or $25 a month for, and they just don't consider it. They use it once or twice, but the subscription keeps on going. And so review what you're paying for and validate its usefulness. Come up with a number. So some workflows shouldn't graduate at all. Some are not going to be worth the cost. And so if it can't be defined in a sentence, if the errors can't be caught before reaching a client, if the data needs to be cleaned up, it stays manual until you get to these steps. And so stopping at the right level is success, not failure. So if you have to pull back, redocument, revisit the tool, clean up your data. It was never to maximize how AI is used, it's to maximize how effective it is in your business. It's that run that same on your worst day as it does on the best. No matter how much stress comes in, it should be consistent whether it's a slow day or a super busy day. It's just stop it if it isn't successful. So here's your homework. Deliberate, tiny, tonight, take 10 minutes. Write down 2 things. The workflow that is repeatable that you want to automate. And then write down how long it takes before AI. Apply AI, run it for a few weeks, measure, did you save time? It's a simple task. Page 10 minutes to develop it, run it for a week, come up with new numbers and see, is it worth the cost? So if you want to find out what breaks first, just take my check at cbcreative.com, check.cbcreative.com. 3 minutes, 25 questions, talks about various blind spots. And with that, I will stop